I'm wearing my pyjamas and I have no shame because cat. So I apologise for the bed hair, quite literally. I haven't got the motivation to brush it. So this is my natural hair after days of not washing it, and it's been attacked with all kinds of hair products. I'm trying to think how to start this video. I debated whether or not I should make this video over and over and over again in my head. There's something I'd really like to say before I continue with this video, and it's something that I saw on Facebook today. It was mentioned in an article, and I found this tweet that I'd like to read out before I continue with this video. And the tweet read, "Thinking about how we mourn artists we've never met. We don't cry because we knew them, we cry because they helped us know ourselves." And I find that to be so spot on, especially highlighting the recent death of David Bowie. He passed away on the 10th of January this year. It's 2016 if you're watching this video in the future. Or I'm watching this video in the future. I'm really struggling to find the words to express how I feel. I had all the words just up there, and that's why I actually started recording this video, because I'm sat here in my pyjamas, I've got a little bit of makeup on, my hair's a flipping mess, but I just felt like I wanted to speak to you guys. And it's really hard to sum it up off the top of my head now, but what I'll do is I'll read you guys what I posted on Facebook. I wrote, "Real tears are flowing, real tears. It's crazy how someone who touched your heart in such a powerful way that you never met through the power of creativity, musicality and human expression can affect you. He was and will always remain a true artist. He was not bound by any medium. He was not restricted by any form. You gave me and so many others the freedom to express ourselves with no barrier and do what makes us happy. You taught me from a very young age it's okay to change my spots to stripes. You inspired me to bend the rules creatively, and I have always valued and will continue to do so every song and statement you gifted us all with. The earth has lost one of its brightest and rarest. To wake up to his death today was devastating. I will forever continue to appreciate and love his work. Bowie's in space now. He's finally found a surrounding that shines as bright as he does." That's what I wrote on Facebook to kind of contribute how I was feeling and kind of express how I was feeling. Like, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys now, I did not expect for this to hit me so hard, because even though I have always really admired David Bowie and he's done so much for me, and I knew it was inevitable that one day he would pass away and I would feel sad and I would feel, you know, really disheartened. But I didn't expect to feel devastated. I didn't expect to feel as though I ended up losing a huge chunk of my footage. Spoke about the art that I had created in really in-depth detail, and then poofed. The day after David Bowie died, I stayed up until 6 AM trying to kind of like numb the pain I'd kind of been feeling by expressing myself in a way in which I hadn't for a while, which was to pick up a pencil for the first time in years, a medium which I've neglected ever since I made paint and video my favourite mediums. So I used a combination of different mediums in the end for this, and I want to make it clear that I wasn't aiming for hyperrealism here, but more so abstract expressionism. I chose my favourite picture of Bowie as well, which he is originally smirking in this picture, but I changed his facial expression and added the black star, which is weeping, and this kind of represents on a personal level how I kind of feel, and a lot of us will, that he's no longer with us. And then in the background I made sure to kind of symbolically kind of place the labyrinth in the distance, as that was the first film I ever fell in love with as a child, and he was also my first crush. And the rainbow sky represents the colour he injected into all of our lives and the huge impact he made to the LGBT community. I'm not going to explain why I changed his clothes because I feel like it's self-explanatory. I know that Chris Hadfield would approve of my decision to change them, so that's all I'm saying. I also really love this picture of David Bowie. I remember seeing this picture a really long time ago, and it's actually what inspired me to dye my hair orange in the first place, and I've had my hair like a variety of different shades of orange throughout the years. This colour specifically that Bowie had, I absolutely loved it, and I really loved like the clashing clothes that he used to wear that were like bright and eccentric and bold, and it's like everything was just so mix-matched in the best way possible, and he was definitely a huge fashion inspiration to me as well as a musician and as an artist. This next one was kind of something I just couldn't get out of my head visually and just wanted to have in front of me in my sketchbook. And I think this one pretty much speaks for itself. It's Lazarus inspired. The lyric, "Dropped my cell phone down below, ain't that just like me?" And I kind of just imagined that David Bowie's just there on Mars, And he's dropped his phone. I don't know what type of phone he had. I kind of wondered to myself while I was making this whether or not he'd have an iPhone or an Android. But then I kind of just imagined this really old school phone, like a proper like 80s retro brick. But then I thought, fuck it, an iPhone will do. An iPhone floating down from Mars. And this last one, I kind of want to let speak for itself. It's the transformation into a black star. There's a starman waiting in the sky. This one is quite a bizarre one. It's probably my favourite. It's quite interesting because I actually created this piece, minus the text in the corner, months prior to deciding that I wanted to put the text in this piece, and that completed this piece really, adding the text. And it was really strange because I looked at this when I was looking through my sketchbook because I kind of had this weird feeling there was something I wanted to add that text to and maybe even add more art on top of it and kind of just create something to express how that lyric makes me feel. When I found this, it kind of shocked me how it does seem to represent a lot, which I feel as though, I don't even know how to explain this. I had a friend of mine actually look at this in my sketchbook and tell me that it looked like cancer actually killing a star, like a bright star is fading and being poisoned by black. And it's something that I noticed before he even told me he noticed this. And then it just felt so fitting to add the text. And then when I added the text, it's like it mysteriously put this piece together for me. And I know that sounds quite bizarre, but looking at this piece kind of creates a whole new meaning for me now. I'm back, and haven't things changed? My hair has been brushed, I have makeup on, and I'm dressed. The difference a little bit of effort makes. My memory card completely cut out as I was on this huge, emotional, heartfelt tangent about how I felt about everything. And I feel like it would be unfair of me to try and re-explain a lot of the thoughts that I had. I continued speaking for like another 10 minutes and it had stopped recording at that point, which was really annoying. So I really wanted to just film a little bit more of a video for you guys to add at the end of that so that it made sense. And also I never got to mention any of my favourite David Bowie songs either, so I wanted to mention that. I was playing Ashes to Ashes on the guitar last night and I was just playing along to the music, just thinking, God damn it. But at the same time, by playing his music and embracing the things that I loved about him, it really helped to kind of make me feel better in a way. So I sat there playing Ashes to Ashes on my guitar, loving life, and it was funny because it went from this to me then learning Melanie Martinez's Carousel. Another one of my favourite songs by Bowie is Heroes. Another one people might think is quite stereotypical, but with Heroes, I always just imagined having that played at my wedding. Like, I've always just imagined it. I never thought that David Bowie would sing it at my wedding or anything like that, but it's just always held a lot of meaning to me as well. And Space Oddity, of course. And now Lazarus has a whole different meaning for me. Really heartbreaking for me to listen to that song. It's kind of like Lazarus has basically done to me what Johnny Cash did to me when he released his last music video. Johnny Cash's music video for Hurt was just so emotional for me after he passed away because I love Johnny Cash so much. And now it's like David Bowie's Lazarus affected me like the Johnny Cash Hurt video does, but in a much more way because of all of the different meanings in that video that I can see and feel as an artist as well by the way that he represented everything in that video visually. This way or no way, you know I'll be free. And I expressed a lot of my feelings for Lazarus in my artwork. The whole video is a very emotionally raw goodbye letter that would hit so many people that were influenced by him in such a powerful way. His life really was a masterpiece and I'll always have so much respect and admiration for him and everything that he did for culture, community, music, art. I will always have so much respect for him. And it was really bizarre because I had quite a strange experience with a lot of the stuff that happened to me during this week after he passed away. There was loads of like weird spiritual crap going on in my life. Like, I don't really speak about a lot of that stuff on my channel because I don't want to seem crazy, but there was just a lot of strange things happening to me, and it also felt like I was more creative than normal, and I felt more capable of doing things that I've not had the confidence to do in a long time. And I don't know where this determination was coming from, because I felt really shitty. Like, all week I've just been feeling like I genuinely did lose somebody that I knew, even though I never met him. And it's insane, and a lot of people would be like, oh, get a grip, but I didn't expect to feel this way either, and I knew I would feel crappy, but I didn't expect to feel this crap. I pretty much invested a lot of my spare time in learning some Bowie songs on the guitar, singing a lot of Bowie, walking around my house doing a few David Bowie impressions, but Flight of the Conchords, where the eye patch Brett, where the funky eye patch Brett. I fucking love Flight of the Conchords, side note. I pretty much spent a lot of my spare time dedicated to kind of just expressing all of the awesomeness that he gifted to me as an artist and as a musician. As a person, he was a huge pedestal in making me feel like all of these extra elements to me as a person that other people might perceive as crazy or a little bit too out there are perfectly normal if I think they're normal, and I'm comfortable with how I dress, how I act, my sexuality, my music, my voice, everything. Bowie pushed boundaries everywhere, and his life was a masterpiece, and I think that the whole world went into mourning in some way or another when he passed away. My condolences to everybody that was affected. Remember that at the end of the day, just because you didn't know someone doesn't mean that they couldn't have had some kind of impact on you. And that's always really important to remember, that we are made up of a million different interactions we've had with other people that we've met in real life, but also all of the music we've been influenced by, and all of the media and all of the film. People affect people, so everybody has a right to grieve. And I grieved by playing guitar at 3 AM and also drawing pictures dedicated to Bowie. It makes me sad to know that I now live in a Bowie-less world, but at the same time I feel incredibly privileged to have been able to be alive for a chunk of the time that he was on the planet with me. And he did so much as well before I was born that I had the privilege to investigate, and I would have loved to have been there firsthand to have seen him like performing in like the 70s and the 80s. I would have loved to have been there, but unfortunately I cannot. But the great thing about the internet and the world today is that we can listen to all of these songs as many times as we like, and we can re-watch The Labyrinth and all of the films, and we can celebrate his life, and that's the beauty of living. But now there truly is a starman waiting in the sky, and one day I'd like to come and meet